Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Rise of the Phoenix. This video is going to be a Gorbag commander overview. We'll discuss the pros and cons of Gorbag, his skill builds, arming compositions, and itemizations. But first, if you enjoy my videos and haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing and liking this video. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about the pros and cons of Gorbag. The pros for Gorbag are he is a rare source of healing for evil commanders. He has some pretty massive buffs for orc units, and he can also get a madness skill which provides a little bit of crowd control. There's also an option for a stun if you want that crowd control instead. The cons are that for a full orcs build, which in my opinion is the most effective, you have to have respect 5 or higher, which isn't too bad for a T1 commander, but it is still something to consider who you want to invest those respect items into. And additionally, he requires the use of orcs, which other commanders may not want to use. You only have 4 conscription slots. If you're using 3 of those 4 for orc units, you're not really going to be able to conscript many units for your other commanders. Let's take a look at his skills and skill builds. So early on you get Interrogator, you get Laceration, Restrain, Old Orc, Dress Wounds, and Clear-Headed. Then at Respect 3 you get Grey Leader, Orcish Warlord, and March, which you'll probably never take. I'll let you guys read all of these skills and their actual effects in-game. You're smart people, I believe, and I don't want to take up valuable time going over all the little skills. At Respect 5, you get a really awesome Watchman of Kirith Ungol. One thing to note about this skill is at max level, it makes all orc units immune to madness. You get Enrage, and you get Corrupting Curse. So the first build we're going to talk about here is actually usable as Gorbag at Respect 3 or lower. So this is a good skill to start out with. Really you want to use it for as long as your Gorbag is lower than Respect 5, because he needs Respect 5 to switch over to the full Orc build. For this build you want to focus on Focus as a primary stat, because you're going to be relying on his healing quite a bit. Additionally, if you can pick up some items that increase your army defense, those can be useful as well. In general, you just want to focus on raw stats, and then maybe any little sort of anti-crowd control attribute that your item might have, like anti-stun or anti-madness. But you're not going to want to invest too heavily into any one specific type of unit bonus, like Evil Men Attack or Uruk-hai Attack, anything like that. Because with this build, you're going to want to just use whatever units you have, whatever you find to be efficient for taking tiles and leveling in the early game. He's one of the best commanders that Evil has for taking those early tiles, because of his ability to heal and mitigate casualties. If and when you are able to take your Gorbag to Respect 5, we have a little wombo combo type build here. If you are Respect 5 but lower than level 44, it's going to be somewhat similar to the build that I just showed you, in the sense that you're still going to be taking that healing to help with the early game, but then you're also going to start investing into the skill Grey Leader and also Orcish Warlord, which will start to buff your orc units. These are 2 of the core skills for the full orc build. And with this build, you're going to want to focus your army on orc units, because they're going to be taking a lot less damage. They're also going to get a nice speed boost, and at 15 of 15 in Grey Leader, it increases orc HP by 1, which is quite a nice title bonus in my opinion. As far as itemization for this build goes, you're going to want to get any sort of item that buffs orcs specifically, since you should always be using orcs with this guy, with this build. Army attack's a good one, army health, army defense, orc defense, reduced melee damage taken, stun immunity, and potentially even a healing accessory to heal for even more. Now, once you have reached level 44, and Respect 5, you can then respec over to this build right here, which is the Gorbag full Orcs build. Requires level 44 plus and respect 5 or higher. At this point, you're going to want to focus on getting as much might as possible so that your Orcs will be doing a ton of damage. You absolutely never in any of these builds want to take the skill Clear-Headed, which reduces the time needed to complete tips. Just that skill is just bad on like every commander. Just never take it. They should probably completely redo that build or that skill on every single commander that has it. The itemization for the full orc build is going to be pretty much the same as the itemization for the level 50 version, or I should say pre-level 44 version. You want to beef up your army attack, army health, anything that buffs orcs in particular. And then you want to keep an eye out for items that can give you stun immunity and madness immunity, just to give your army a little bit of anti-CC. This is particularly important if you're coming up against commanders like Gandalf, who love to stun the crap out of people. One thing to note in this build is the 7 points in Enrage lets all allied units do extra damage for a chance of succumbing to madness. However, this is excellent in combination with Watchmen of Cirith Ungol, because you should be using all orcs, and guess what? All of your orcs are immune to madness. You only need 1 point in Corrupting Curse. It's going to do a minor amount of damage and has a chance to inflict madness upon enemy units. After that, you can come back for Interrogator and Restrain giving a chance to stun the enemy army, and you can just drop a point in Laceration just for a little bit of extra damage, although Gorbag's commander damage is nothing super impressive. The important thing to remember as Gorbag, if I haven't said it enough already, is orcs, orcs, and more orcs. The absolute core of his build is Grey Leader, Orcish Warlord, Watchman of Cirith Ungol, Enrage, and make sure you get as many items as possible that increase the stats of your orc units, and this guy should perform quite excellently in combat, especially for a T1 commander. That's it for this video. I hope you learned something useful. Let me know what you think about Gorbag down in the comments below. Is he one of your main commanders, or do you use him as a bench warmer? I'll see you in the next one. Rise of the Phoenix, over and out.